Now at 4, we're looking at temperatures in the teens, but we're expecting another cold night with temperatures below 0. I'll have your forecast.
Parents say they're frustrated with last-minute school delays and closures. We'll tell you how districts make the decision.
And a historic change at the top of IMPD. We're hearing from the next chief. Live from Indy, you're watching 13 News. Hey everybody, it's 4 o'clock. Spoiler alert, it's still kind of miserable out there. Central Indiana is still dealing with a deep freeze and the snow and ice still causing problems on the roads. We've been watching problems on the roads all day long across Central Indiana for another day in a row. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence, and you're not going to get me down, okay? The positives here, we have loads of sunshine. We are having more light in the day.
Yes.
At 6 p.m., it was still light outside.
That's good news. I like the sunshine.
That's the bright side.
Now, and I'm
really.
also, look, if you look down the road a little bit, if you look towards the end of the 7-day, you can see temperatures at freezing.
Okay.
That's also a little bit of positivity, right?
Yeah, I guess
You're
relatively so.
trying.
It feels like Groundhog Day.
I appreciate you trying.
I know, it does.
day.
By the way, by Groundhog Day, the 2nd of February, temperatures will also be a little bit warmer. But yes, this is what you have to deal with at the moment. At this point, we can only laugh, right? Temperatures into the teens. Look, it's still going to be cold yet again tonight. I know it sounds like a broken record over and over again, but pretty much the pattern that we're in right now is locked in. Now, feels like temperatures are still pretty cold and could be dangerous if you're going to be out for an extended period of time. So we don't want to make light of that. Temperatures at or perhaps a little bit below 0, although south of Indy, we do have some numbers here that are positive for wind chills. Temperatures are expected to keep dropping, though, through the next several hours, especially with mostly clear skies, those high, thin clouds still out there. So we'll take these temperatures that are currently into the teens and we'll continue to see them drop, likely getting down into the single digits by midnight and expecting to go down below 0 yet again for tonight. Low temperature of 4 below, although some new model data is maybe suggesting that we won't get quite as cold over the next couple of nights, but still, let's call it near 0, give or take a few degrees either side of that, although I think we're going to be on the lower side. That's why we have cold advisories that are in place, essentially for the metro and then points to the north and east, although even up to Lafayette, we're still expecting temperatures to be, or at least feels like temperatures to be close to 10 below. Temperatures a little bit wider. You see that colder air that's in place. We do have some warmer temperatures that are on the way. Coming up in a bit, I'm going to talk about when the temperatures do get back above freezing. There are a couple of snow chances in the 7-day forecast. I'm going to cover that as well. In the meantime, I do need to spend a little bit of time talking about traffic because, boy, this has been a nightmare all throughout the day. We've been dealing with what's been happening on the west side. We're talking 465 northbound right at Rockville Road. That's it on the map if you're map oriented like I am, but let me show it to you here. This is northbound. Now earlier there was a semi that was overturned here. That happened, I want to say, during the noon hour. That semi has since been righted and for the most part pulled away, but we still have vehicles that are being dealt with and perhaps some potential issues on the roadway. Keep in mind, we also just have a little bit of icing on each side of the road, as you can see in this vantage point from the other side. Traffic is moving through, but of course it's causing that big backup from Rockville Road on 465 northbound all the way down to, say, Interstate 70 close to the airport. So if you're going to be in that area, I highly suggest you take another location, another route if you can. Otherwise, you're going to have to sit in this traffic for a while.
Okay, leave early, be patient, slow down.
And yes, we are map oriented like you are, Rob. Thank you.
Appreciate you, as always. You know, parents from cities across Central Indiana say they are frustrated today after districts switched from delays over to e-learning with just hours to go before school this morning.
It certainly can be very frustrating doing those last-minute changes. Ella Rhodes actually has more with us today. She caught up with parents who say they would like more of a heads up.
That's exactly right. It's all about that timing and opportunity. So many parents say it's challenging to find last-minute childcare while they have to go into work. One mom I spoke with says she can no longer call off work to stay home with her son because she did the past 2 days. So in 2022, Indiana legislators created a law that says school districts can only have 3 e-learning days. After that, they must apply for a waiver. Once out of e-learning, schools can do synchronous learning through a platform like Zoom where students can interact with teachers and other classmates. As Phil Levinson helped his second grader get ready for school this morning, he got a call that she would do e-learning. Levinson thankfully can work from home, but he says there are still challenges with e-learning.
Her mom or I have to help her with some of it, so it also impedes our ability to work because we also have to make money.
Levinson wants to see school systems make the call earlier, especially when they know the weather isn't changing. So I also reached out to a few other school districts on how they make these decisions, and a few different factors go into it.
And what did they say to you?
Yeah, so of course they are assessing the conditions the night prior, and also early in the morning around 4:45, excuse me, is when IPS gets out there and they start looking at the roads. So it's just different for every school system. But Carmel Clay Schools actually sent their parents an email today that school will be in person tomorrow, January 29th. But they say, of course, that may change based on the weather conditions. And Beech Grove schools say they try to communicate decisions as quickly as possible and as early as possible. But once again, weather in Indiana can change quickly. So you just got to stay alert and look for those communications and notifications. They all say safety for students is the #1 priority.
Well, all of us parents can certainly appreciate that.
It's so tough.
The frustration, but also the pressure on the part of the school districts to make a tough decision, too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and then, I mean, jobs are going to have to give. I know that's easier said than done, and it's like just talk up here, but some grace is going to have to be given for sure.
Exactly.
Thank you,
guys.
Ella.
We have new developments today on the story from Lafayette making national headlines.
4 of the 5 suspects charged in the shooting of a judge and his wife appeared in court for the first time. Thomas Moss was first on the docket. A judge set his bond at $3 million cash. He'll also be held under heightened security. His jury trial is set for May 6th. Blake Smith also appeared before the judge along with Raylan Ferguson and Amanda Millsap.
Just yesterday, investigators released body cam video of the arrest of 3 of the suspects. You're looking at that video right here. Thomas Moss, Raylan Ferguson, and Blake Smith. Judge Steve Meyer and his wife were shot in their home, allegedly connected to a case involving Thomas Moss. The shootings happened just days before Moss was due to be in Meyer's courtroom. Police allege Raylan Ferguson is the one who fired into the judge's home. Ferguson is listed as Moss's business partner and fellow Vice Lord gang member. Blake Smith allegedly bought the gun used in the shooting. Court records say the shooter knocked on the door of the home, then fired shots through the door as soon as he heard a voice. Rich Nye was in the courtroom today. He's going to join us with more from the courtroom coming up at 5.
Also in the courtroom today, a 5th suspect was charged in the death of a man burned alive in a car in Delaware County. Prosecutors are charging 43-year-old Tallis McCoy with murder, arson, kidnapping, criminal confinement, and obstruction of justice. And this comes after the death of 58-year-old Michael Greer. Investigators say Greer was beaten and shot at a home here in Indy and then taken up to Delaware County and burned alive in a car. 4 other suspects are facing multiple charges in this crime.
New today, the head of Indiana's Department of Child Services is now on a leave of absence. We've confirmed that information regarding Adam Krupp, but we still don't know why. He was appointed to his position back in January of last year by Governor Braun. Chief Deputy Jennifer Dorfmeyer will be stepping into Krupp's place for now. Of course, we'll let you know as soon as we learn more on that. Also today, the city of Indianapolis named a new chief of police, and she makes history as the first woman to hold that position.
She's also a familiar face. Deputy Chief Tanya Terry will be sworn in Monday. She's a 27-year veteran, and when the mayor made the announcement today, he said Terry has been an essential leader in the city's gun violence reduction strategy. Our Ashton Hackman sat down with Terry a little bit ago. One of the many important topics they discussed was immigration enforcement. Listen.
Our officers are ready to serve all members of our community, regardless of their background or immigration status. And our priority remains the safety and the trust of every member of the community that lives here in Indianapolis.
In a statement today, the police union said Tanya Terry is highly respected across the board by the rank and file of IMPD, and that residents, visitors, and business owners of our capital city will be well served with her at the helm. And President Trump is seeming to signal a willingness to ease tensions in Minneapolis after a second deadly shooting by federal immigration agents.
He made a leadership change by sending his top border advisor to Minnesota to take charge of the immigration crackdown. Brian Abel has the latest today from Minneapolis.
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar Tuesday attacked in Minneapolis when someone at her town hall sprayed an unknown substance on her before being tackled to the ground. Omar continuing the event after.
We are Minnesota strong. and we will stay resilient in the face of whatever they might throw at us.
The attack happening as the city of Minneapolis continues grappling with the fatal shootings of Alex Preddy and Renee Good by federal agents. President Donald Trump making an immigration enforcement leadership change for the Minnesota operation, while Democrats threaten to withhold key funding votes, and some in the president's own party begin to criticize DHS's handling of the crisis in Minnesota under Secretary Kristi Noem's leadership.
She's got to make her own decision, or the president does, but she has taken this administration into the ground on an issue that we should own.
Trump continues to defend Noem, but out Border Patrol Commander-at-Large Greg Bovino, in Border Czar Tom Homan. President Trump telling Fox News the move is to turn the temperature down.
We have Tom Homan there now. We put him in there. He's great. And they met with the governor, the mayor, everybody else, and we're going to de-escalate a little bit.
The man accused of assaulting Omar, 55-year-old Anthony Kazmierczak. Lawmakers and local officials condemning political violence after the attack. In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
And still ahead here at 4 o'clock today, getting young adults to the polls. It's a problem here in Indiana.
Yeah, we have the top 3 reasons young Hoosiers don't want to vote.
And we're also tracking temperatures yet again below zero. We've got a couple of more nights, 3 or 4 more nights actually, where we're going to see temperatures this cold before slowly we start to warm up.